Hey everyone, I'm Etienne from Etienne's Foods, and this is my interpretation of lamb barbacoa cooked on the Parilla grill by Stila. So ever since I've been 7 years old, I've been a huge fan of Mexican food. I was privileged enough back then to spend some time in Texas and spend some time in the south of Texas in San Antonio, and was introduced at a very young age to something most South Africans had never really heard of before, and that was Mexican food. Later on we found out it was mostly Tex-Mex, but I think the stuff we had in San Antonio was a lot more Mexican than we realized at the time. And it's been sort of one of my mom's party tricks since I was a little kid, tacos and things like that, and sort of the obsession has grown. And I just can't help myself but to make my version of Mexican classics as often as I can with ingredients that we can get here. Fortunately, there's a great little company out in Midrand in Gauteng called Azteca Mexican Ingredients, and they ship nationwide. In fact, you've had this stuff before. If you've ever had nacho chips, chances are you've had of their products. But everything from the specialist Mexican chillies, everything you can get from them. I'm a big fan, and I'll put a link to their website in the video in the description. Check them out. So, lamb barbacoa. It does sound familiar, isn't it? Barbacoa, barbecue. That's sort of where the phrase barbecue originated. And in Mexico, they take a lamb, chop it up in pieces, and cook it in what they call a pib, which is an oven in the ground. And they wrap it with agave leaves, and obviously they put a marinade on it and cook it for like 12 hours or something until it falls apart, and serve it on a taco like they do. And that's sort of what we're going to do, only we're not going to dig a hole in the ground. We've got this amazing Parilla grill from Stila. And what makes it so special is that it's super versatile. So you can cook things hot and fast, or you can raise the grid and cook it slowly. So with this specific recipe, what you got to do, you got to get your firebox going on the side, and sort of every 20 minutes or so, you're going to poke it with a poke so that the coals fall down to the bottom. Drag them over. You've got a thin layer of coals beneath your meat, and that's just enough heat to do a slow cook on the Parilla. So sort of a mix of a South African and an Argentinian style to grill it. Fortunately, I've got a couple of agaves that are growing just over there, and we managed to harvest some leaves off them. It's the variation of the agave americano, and that's what they use in Mexico. They wrap it up and it gives it a special flavor. And so I've done that to try and trap the smoke and the heat in the lamb, to try and make it a little bit more authentic. And you'll see what I do. You've got to roast the agave leaves first so they become nice and pliable. And I just put it on top just to trap the smoke, trap the flavor in there. If you don't have that, you can always put some foil on top. You take a baking sheet, put that on top, just to trap the heat. That's what you want to do. So I've got a lamb rib, got a gorgeous local lamb rib that we're going to do. The rib meat is delicious because you've got some of that very juicy, tender meat, got a bit of fat, some crispy bits, and it's quite cheap, usually a lamb rib, a little packed with flavor. So the marinade, we make a little marinade with it. I got some Mexican, dried Mexican chilies. I had in stock here in my cupboard, I had an Ancho chili and I had a couple of dried chipotle chilies. The Guajillo chili is the actual one that gives a specific flavor to barbacoa. I didn't have any though, but it was still delicious. So what you do, you take about 2 cups of boiling water in a pot, and you're going to put the chilies in there and boil them to reconstitute them till they get soft. Of course, you're going to take the stems off first, and then along with the water, those chilies are going to go into a blender. Put in some cumin, a little bit of vinegar, of course some salt, a onion, a normal onion just sort of chopped up, and lime juice, and blitz it all up. A little bit of sugar. You're going to use some unrefined or some brown sugar. That makes up for the unrefined sugar that they would use in Mexico. It's going to give a similar flavor profile. Blitz it all up, and that's going to be your marinade that you're going to put on the lamb rib, and then you just slow cook it. Once it's slow cooked, pull it all off the bone, and you'll see I sort of chop it up with a cleaver, get everything incorporated. What you want to do is you want to get every bite must have a little bit of the fat, a little bit of the meat, some of the crispy skin, and the leftover marinade. So you're only going to use about half the marinade. You don't have to use it all. The leftover marinade you reincorporate back into your meat, and that adds that particular flavor that you're after. We're making a salsa verde, or at least my version of it. Salsa verde is something that's very typical in Mexico, especially with rich dishes. It's a light, usually quite strong, very spicy, but very fresh, a little bit sour. And they use tomatillos, which you can't get here. You get the canned version, but it's again, it's not always that you've got in your cupboard. So what we did, we got some unripe tomatoes and limes together. So I took a couple of unripe tomatoes, put them on the grill because you got to char them a bit. Took an onion, charred that up, and I had a couple of jalapeno peppers, I think 5 or 6 of them, whatever came in the packet. Grilled them up. That all goes, and the limes, I charred the limes as well, put the juice, all of that goes in a blender with a big bunch of coriander, and you blitz it up, put a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's delicious. It's really got a tang to it, nice and sour, but a lovely flavor because you've charred it on the grill, and that's a very, very nice salsa. Obviously, if you don't like it as hot as we do, you can hold back a little bit on the amount of chilies. If you like it hotter, use serrano chilies, use something else that will add some more heat. But this one was particularly hot. It was delicious though. And there you have it. It's fantastic with some fresh made corn tortillas. There's really nothing like a fresh made corn tortilla. And if you've never had one, you have to try. It's really accessible again from Azteca. You buy the masa, mix it with water, and you'll see on the little side box here on the firebox, I put my cast iron pan, and we made the corn tortillas, everything on the Parilla grill. A whole lot of fun, and I hope you try this recipe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What else do you want to see? Have you got any questions? And enjoy lamb barbacoa tacos made on the Parilla grill by Stila.